I'm down $7,000 today on my Tesla position, and you're probably wondering what the heck is going on with Tesla if you clicked on this video. At the pre-market levels here, it's down 5.6%, but it has probably moved a bunch since I filmed this video by the time you're watching it on YouTube. So with Tesla stock back down to $300 per share, is this a dip buying opportunity? Is there more upside for the stock, or is this just the start of a bigger sell-off now that we've got more news about Trump and Elon back at it again? Tesla stock falls as the Musk-Trump ceasefire is broken. What happened in round one? So this morning, Trump put out a Truth Social post in the early hours, articulating a direct threat to Tesla, suggesting that the Department of Government Efficiency, which was effectively run by Musk, quote, should take a good hard look at the subsidies it offered to Musk's companies, and that he was, quote, strongly against the EV mandate. And the last time we saw these two start to argue, we saw the Tesla stock price drop precipitously from a move here down all the way by 25% in like just a couple trading sessions. It was a very volatile couple days there. And what we've seen is we saw a recovery in the stock prices. It seemed like there was a bit of a, okay, let's put it behind us from both Trump and Elon. And now we see a little bit of fresh drama hitting the stage again, this yellow line representing the pre-market price of $300 per share on Tesla. So the question is this a opportunity to buy the dip on Tesla shares, or is this just the start of more drama and perhaps we're heading back down the low, through the lows, as Trump may actually take action that would directly hurt Tesla shareholders? Shares of Tesla are dropping the pre-market trading Tuesday as the feud between CEO Elon Musk and President Trump heat up again. Trump early Tuesday accused Musk of gaining excessively from electric vehicle subsidies. And all of this sort of stems around Trump's quote unquote big beautiful bill, which currently is being jostled around in the government, and Musk has a lot of criticism for it, suggesting that this is going to just be yet again another round of tons of government spending, and it's just going to kick the can down the road on the national debt once again. And from a personal standpoint, this is not a Republican or a Democrat thing. This is a politician thing. They're incentivized to spend tons of money. And so the criticism that Musk has is felt by many people, I think, that the government just keeps spending and spending and spending, and it's causing problems for us down the road. Trump's one big beautiful bill currently is being debated by the Senate and includes a provision to eliminate the $7,500 new EV tax credit, which was a key piece of former President Joe Biden's efforts to accelerate U.S. EV adoption. Tesla, obviously being an electric vehicle selling company, does not love to see this, as these subsidies make the product more accessible and even sort of encourage Americans to be buying electric vehicles. However, there's been a lot of exciting news about Tesla as well recently. It made its first driverless delivery of a new car to a customer recently, and Elon Musk said the automaker completed its first driverless delivery of a new car to a customer, routing a Model Y SUV from the company's Austin, Texas Gigafactory to an apartment building in the area on June 27th. And here's a quick video of the driverless car delivering itself to a customer. This is really cool. And again, this is why, I've held the shares for so long, off and on. I mean, I've traded in and out of Tesla stock over time, but part of the reason, take a look at that. That's so cool. Vehicles delivering themselves. I want to talk about the longer term bull case versus bear case for Tesla really quick. First, let's start with the bear case, which is easy. The bear case is that this stock is incredibly expensive, and it's had declining profits and declining margins. This is the bear case through and through. You have a company that's profit margins have been dwindling, the net income of the company has been going down, and revenues have been mostly sideways to slightly negative. Another obvious bear case when it comes to Tesla is, of course, the idea that Elon Musk himself is highly controversial and has alienated most of his customer base, whether it be back in the day when he was more of a kind of the clean energy EV person that the left side really loved and the Europeans really loved, loved for this. And then now with the, right side of the aisle, which he had kind of grown closer to through Trump, now may not be a super big fan of him now that he's kind of criticizing the current president. If we take a look at Tesla in terms of the PE ratio, you're talking about a very expensive stock. With their Q2 earnings coming in, they've beat estimates, which were very, very low, so that was a positive, but they've missed some estimates, but the overall kind of earnings per share growth you can see has been declining, which is not a very exciting thing to investors. Typically, great companies or companies that excite bulls are seeing, a rising, steady earnings per share and consistent revenue and earnings beats from their reported earnings. So the bear case is pretty obvious. And when we look at the financials, this is a tough one to defend when looking backwards. Also, quick plug, the tool that I just showed you is the stock box. And we're doing a summer sale, and it says 40% on the screen right here. But if you send us a direct message using the first link in the description down below, today only, we'll do half off the stock box. It's a relatively new product, but it is a powerful one that gives traders and investors the chance to look through all sorts of financial data on companies that we talk about on this channel all the time. So if you're interested in exploring the stock box, make sure to use the link in the description down below. And if you use the first link there, you can send us a direct message and let us know that you watched today's video and request half off the Edge Finder, and we'll honor that today only. Now back to the video. But let's also make sure to talk about the bull case for Tesla. The bull case for Tesla is a couple things, but the main two pieces are the excitement surrounding autonomous vehicles, which Tesla, I think, has the lead on in terms of building these vehicles that are self-driving and intelligent driving devices, which of course is a really cool technology that we just saw a little bit of a clip from that video that I just showed you. And these cars already are starting to drive themselves, and it's pretty impressive what they've been able to do. If you watch the videos, it's pretty cool to watch, and they seem to be really smooth rides. I've not taken one myself, but I would love to in the future. Now, you could poke holes in this and say, well, you've also got Waymo and things like that that are also doing this. But Tesla, in my view, has some really cool technologies and is, in my view, ahead of the rest. The second is robo-taxis. And of course, this is another area of competition with Google's Waymo and Uber kind of getting involved in the robo-taxi race. I think that, Tesla may still have the possibility to tap into what is expected to be a ginormous marketplace. If they can get driverless vehicles going around and giving people rides at very low costs because you remove the human element out of it, there is huge potential for a very profitable business model there. Now, of course, the loser in that is the drivers that will be losing their jobs if this, becomes a massively adopted thing, and it is expected to be that way as we continue to see this technology take over the space. And I think that is a huge market, and the whole idea is that Tesla over the longer term, if you are a bull, if you are a believer in Tesla, the idea that you have is that, it's going to be less and less of an electric vehicle company or a car manufacturer and more of a AI company, a robo-taxi company, a ride-sharing kind of automation system company, and of course all the other cool things that Tesla does. They build some pretty cool battery technologies. Their sensory technology is pretty incredible. It's a tech company, and some people will make the argument that it is just a car company and that it is doesn't have any significant edge. But in my view, these are the two main reasons that I like the idea of having some exposure to Tesla in my own portfolio. However, the downside with Tesla, and it's a pretty big one, is that it is a very high risk, high reward type company. Take a look, for example, when we had the jump up on the election, you can see the stock jumped by 128% from this low point here, and then dropped from there 57% or 56%, whatever it was, right? A huge drop. So this stock has huge swings and could very well enter into a prolonged bearish period if the market senses out that they're losing the robo-taxi race, or if they're losing, some of their edge in other places. Perhaps Chinese EVs continue to pull ahead. We've seen that as a threat to the business. And so you have profit margins, revenues declining. So this is not in my view, a company that you can say at this point, based on these things, I want to be, super long Tesla based on its financials. In my opinion, this company, it's a profitable company, but I've been watching Tesla as a shareholder for a very long time. Now, I've traded in and out of the stock many times, but I had probably my best career trade ever. Actually, it was my best career trade, was buying Tesla in March of 2020. And back then, the big concern was this company will never turn a profit, it will never make consistent money, and it's going to go bankrupt, and everybody who buys into the shares is going to go down with the ship. And it proceeded to have one of the most incredible stock moves that I've ever witnessed in my career, moving 1,300+% during the post-pandemic or the COVID pandemic, which is just one that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. It was an insane rally to see that. And since then, the stock has actually been kind of a loser. Now, we had the huge run up, and if you are a part of that, then, it was amazing. It was an incredible time to be a Tesla shareholder. And since then, we've entered into a new paradigm where the stock has actually gone sideways for a very long time. And I think that this is where you make your stake. Do you believe that Tesla has the potential to be this robo-taxi and autonomous driving electric vehicle leader in the future? And if so, you don't look at the financials. You say, okay, I think that they're going to tap into this new marketplace and you're speculating that they're going to be a big winner in the future. So in my opinion with Tesla, what do I want to do? Do I want to add a bunch of shares to my existing position? Do I want to sell some of my position? Or do I want to hold the position as its entirety? Well, I hinted at it at the beginning of this video when I showed you my current positioning in the stock. Again, stock's down 6% today. This is nothing new for Tesla. This stock is so volatile. It can be up 10%, down 10%, down 15% in a day. The volatility is part of the name. However, that is exactly why when it comes to my perspective on the stock is I want to sell a piece of my position on a rip. I've had a good move in this stock. I'm up overall from where I bought it. I'm up 26, 27%, obviously giving back some of those gains today. But I sold a covered call, and that covered call is almost certainly now with just, well, I shouldn't say almost certainly, crazier things have happened. With 10 days left on this call, I shorted a call for 375. That's way up here. It's unlikely that the Tesla share price will be at or exceed that level. So essentially, I'm just going to pocket the premium that I collected for shorting or selling this call to another investor who wanted to buy calls on Tesla. I am going to pocket that premium, and I'm probably just going to do it again. So at the expiration of Tesla, of these calls, if I am still in the 400 shares, right? So I have total 400 shares of Tesla. And to me, here's my dilemma. That's too big of a position for my portfolio. Now it's become a much bigger position over time because I've had some gains in the stock. However, I took half, I took 200, I divided by 2, and I said with my 200 shares, I want to essentially sell out of half of my positioning. And so what I've done is I've sold calls. I've sold 2 Tesla call contracts, essentially wanting to get called away. Now, it looked for a second there like I was going to get called away, and I would have liked to get called away for a huge profit on my shares, but now the stock price has obviously turned back. So my plan is to continue to write calls against my 200 shares and keep 200 shares in my back pocket. So I want to stay long the name. I want to be in for the longer term. I like the story. I think that Elon Musk has an incredible track record and that he will pull through and do it again. Again, many times, if you look at history, betting against Elon Musk has been a losing strategy for a very long time. He's an incredible CEO. You may not like his politics, and I understand. I personally hope that he stays further away from the White House and all the political stuff. I hope that he really reels it in and focuses up on SpaceX and Tesla and all the innovative things that I think he can do for humanity and for these companies and for the shareholders like myself. I think that there is upside for Tesla. I think there's upside for, the massive ride sharing or autonomous vehicles and robo-taxi markets that I think are in the future. This has been something as a shareholder I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and we're starting to see it materialize. And yet, the clouds are gray because of all the political drama. So in my view, if I wasn't in a position in Tesla, this is my personal opinion, I would actually be looking to add some shares to Tesla. Now, of course, not financial advice, and I could be dead wrong and my timing could be awful. But in my view, when it comes to Tesla shares coming down like this on a political headline, I think that these things will revolve themselves or kind of move past. And my hope is that, Trump kind of does what he did last time, which is Elon Musk and Trump kind of just agree to disagree and they move on with their respective avenues, recognizing that they're probably more likely to be allies than to be enemies, in my view. Because again, I don't think Elon Musk is going to go all the way to the left-hand side, even if he's sort of vocally not as supportive of the president and this big, quote-unquote, big, beautiful bill. Point is, I think that those are short-term drama points, and I think that they give opportunities to buy the dip on stocks like Tesla. That's my personal opinion. I'm not going to be doing so because I already have a very full-sized position on this stock, but my plan is, like I said, to get called away on 2 shares or 2 contracts worth or 200 shares of my Tesla position. So my average stock price on Tesla, my average price is $230 something per share. I have total of 400 shares. I've sold calls against 200 of my shares, and my plan is to continue to sell calls until I get called away. Now, I'm probably going to, if I get the chance to again, I'm probably going to sell higher delta calls. More probability that these calls get called away from me or these calls get in the money and collect juicier premiums once this eventually likely expires worthless. Now, again, when I'm shorting calls, I want, or I don't mind, I should say, if the calls expire worthless because I'm short the calls. However, I would actually prefer to short the calls and then the stock price go up, get me called away, take a profit on the shares. Because remember, I still get to gain, if you're unfamiliar with how calls work, as the call seller, as a covered call seller, I own 200 shares, so I want the stock price to go up, but any point past the call strike price, I don't see any extra gains. I just kind of write those off. Those are essentially gains that I have sold the rights to, if you will. So anyways, that's my plan for Teslas. I do want to essentially continue to look to sell half my position, but I'm not in a rush, and I don't want to. I'd only really be interested in selling the position if we did get a pop in the stock price from here. I think that Tesla has plenty of upside over the longer term, and I don't think that this company is headed to zero like so many analysts have been saying for so long. This is a killer company in my view, and it has plenty of potential in the future. Maybe it's a little overly optimistic, but in my opinion, I think people are actually underestimating how much the robo-taxi world can turn into. Thanks guys very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.